Hey, it's Amber Jo Bowman, a country singer-songwriter from Ontario. My new single, Still Got Time, is available now. You're listening to On the Porch with Front Porch Music.
Let's just jump in and we can just fix it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Jason, clip that, please.
Let's make it happen.
Jason, clip that. Welcome back to another episode of On the Porch with Front Porch Music, where myself, Jenna, and Logan,
that's me,
sit down with Canadian country artists every 2 weeks from coast to coast. That's right, we travel back and forth every 2 weeks. I'm just kidding.
Imagine.
I'm just saying that because we've spent a lot of virtual porch time on the West Coast, I feel like, recently.
Mm-hmm.
Or am I making that up?
And the East Coast, like we just had Riley Taylor on.
Yeah, that's true. Nonetheless, virtually we've been traveling a lot. Real life,
stuck in Ontario.
Still working on that. Nonetheless.
This week on the pod, we have an artist from BC, back on the West Coast. We have Antonio Larosa with us. He has a brand new song out that just came out a couple days ago called Tried and True. Not Tired and True, but Tried and True.
Antonio grew up as the family Jukebox. Listen more to find out what that means. He is also the 2025 BCCMA Roots Artist of the Year, which is incredible for him. Antonio has been making music for a long time. We made sure to go through his catalog with him as we have been doing all year. He does not want you to listen to his record from 2017. That's a totally different dude. While he started in musical theater of all places, he eventually made his way back out of New York City and home.
Yeah, here's our chat with Antonio Larosa.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Okay, welcome back to On the Porch with Front Porch Music. I don't know why I just started doing a proper intro like that.
I like it.
I just said I wasn't going to.
But we're here to make it happen.
Make it happen.
You know what? It's because I'm rusty. I haven't recorded in a few weeks, and Logan had to fly solo last time, so let's blame that.
Yeah, so this time, Jenna, I'm not saying a single word this entire episode.
There we go.
Well, you've already done that before. One time, we were doing an interview, and he was talking, and me and the guest weren't answering. And then, like,
I was getting so mad. I was like, they're talking over me. Why is no one listening?
Oh, man. That's happened a few times to me in, like,
and
Zoom
then he
calls.
turned off mute.
And then I was like, oh, oops.
Meanwhile, I'm like, why am I carrying this conversation? Where is this guy?
Oh, God, that's
I'm mad. Jenna's mad. The guest has no idea.
Oh, that's so funny.
We are professional podcasters. Here we are.
That's happened to me in a Zoom call, but I was definitely not on mute. I think nobody just was like, everyone was like, I was just like, what?
They literally just...
They were just like, and I was like, all right.
If this is a new voice for you listening in, this is Antonio Larosa. Welcome to the porch, the virtual porch, on the porch.
Thank you for having me, guys. You guys are the best. You guys do so much for the genre. I mean, you guys have been at it for so long, too. I feel like I spoke to you guys when I released music. Geez, like 2019 maybe, or 2018. Like, and that feels
that's
like
when we first started. 2018 is when we launched, March 2018.
Yeah. So, I mean, thanks for that. I remember that very well.
And that's the only reason why we have you here, so you can say nice things about us.
Well, they're all true. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for folks who are hearing about you for the first time, give us the lowdown. Who are you? Where are you from? What's your social insurance number?
I am Antonio, and I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia, Burnaby, East Van kind of area. I'm a alt-country, Canadiana, Americana, roots, country rock artist. I like to say all those kind of things. And yeah, that's the kind of sound I'm going for, the sound I make, and I grew up listening.
A man of many genres.
Yeah, I'm kind of a really melting pot hybrid of a lot of that stuff.
Where does that come from? That, like, melting pot?
Yeah, I mean, I guess discovery. I was when I was younger. I mean, a lot of I guess a lot of artists that I know their sound kind of comes from what they were listening to maybe at a young age and what they were drawn to it from a young age. And I think the first kind of first artist where I was just completely enamored by was Johnny Cash and like Elvis Presley and like Roy Orbison, and just like that kind of Sun Records kind of Sam Phillips Memphis stuff was just like, that was like the first music I started playing on guitar, and it just really hit me in the heart, and I loved it so much. So that's kind of where everything kind of started, was there, and then it kind of branched out into the 1960s, and like the Flower Power movement, and Eric Clapton. The Allman Brothers Band was huge for me because they were kind of like this country blues band, and I just loved blues music as well. Chuck Berry, and so all that kind of stuff mixed in, and then I really got into like Willie Nelson and like Glenn Campbell, and just like a lot of the country greats, George Jones, and that kind of just all kind of came together, and it kind of just forms this thing. And I feel like every song that I write is kind of different in that sense, because depending on what I'm feeling or what I'm writing or what I'm trying to convey, I might be grabbing from a certain sound or a certain artist or something like that I'm thinking of or I've been listening to. So that's kind of how I roll.
Nice. Has like being a musician always been something like in your wheelhouse, or like did you grow up musically? Was your family musically inclined? Did you pick up a guitar one day randomly and your family was like, "What are you doing?"
Well, no, I don't think. I mean, my family wasn't very like into music. Everyone obviously listened to music growing up. I grew up in a very Italian household, and both my grandfathers played guitar, but they played like two chords, and they played their folk songs from Italy, which was kind of like Italian country music, really. Come to think of it now, like we had a squeeze box, a tambourine, and a guitar, literally, and it was just playing, and that was happening a lot. So that was definitely part of it, but I wouldn't say it was a broad spectrum of a bunch of music. But my uncle, he played guitar as well, and he was quite good. And I remember he would play, I remember one time he played La Bamba, of all things, which is like the opening riff of La Bamba, and I was just like, whoa, what is that? Like, and I really wanted to play, but I was so young and didn't really get around to it. But my mom used to listen to so much of this kind of music, Roy Orbison, Elvis Presley, and Johnny Cash a lot, and she'd be listening to it while she was cooking and stuff like that. So that was kind of my entrance into it, and I showed a little bit of interest into it, and I got a guitar for one of my birthdays. And then that was kind of it. I kind of became the family jukebox after that, and yeah, basically. I mean, they wanted me to play a bunch of Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra, so I did a lot of that stuff as well. But where my heart was at was playing like Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley, but yeah, I think it just started like that, and community talent shows. I think I did one like talent show. I did one talent show. And it's on tape. I got to find it, and I actually have to put this on the internet because it's hilarious. I finished playing the guitar, and I played, I think that year, Enrique Iglesias, the song Hero came out. That song Hero.
Let me be your hero.
Yeah, basically. But I just remember my mom, obviously. I was always with my mom. My mom was listening to that song fucking nonstop on.
You can swear as much as you
want. We love that explicit stuff.
Yeah. Nonstop.
Yeah, we love when our episodes have the little E beside.
Oh, nice, sweet. Okay, well, I'm just gonna go for it. I got a potty mouth. So, she was listening to that nonstop, and I just remember the guitar riff, boom, doo, ding, doo, boom, and I just thought, oh, that's something I can learn, and I learned, and I played that song without singing it at this school talent show with my electric guitar. Finished playing it, and everybody clapped, and I just was like. So I walked off the stage with my guitar cord still into the amp and just like pulled the amp and just like, I got to find it. I got to put it on the internet.
Can you please add that song to your set list?
No, unfortunately, I'm not sure it would fit. But I don't know if you guys remember it as kids, or some other musicians might remember there were songs that you played or liked when you were younger that probably you look back now and go, what? That was definitely one of them.
I mean, I think that song's pretty iconic.
So does my mom.
She's right, and she's right.
Yeah.
That's all. And she's right.
I mean, it was a hit. It was a huge hit.
It was. So where is Enrique now?
Yeah, I know. I think he's performing still, but there was a time, I don't know if you guys noticed on TikTok, where everyone was just going nuts on like just saying how terrible he was.
Yeah. That's really jogged a memory from the last, like, from COVID, I think.
Yeah. Like he went on tour and it was like all like either
terrible,
pre-recorded or something, and it was just really bad, or I don't know. I mean, geez. But you know, back to what I was saying. After that did happen, and I was doing that talent show, just the response I got from people and feeling like, oh, like, you know, you're good at something, or like people liked that I was doing that, and like I just was like, oh my god, like, and I like doing this, so, and people seemed to be praising me for it. It felt really good. I was terrible at sports and like everything else. I didn't really know where I fit in. I was a big chunky kid that just you know. So it was nice to feel that way. So yeah, and I loved it.
So from that moment, like when like the response that you got, was that kind of the moment that really kind of clicked with you that maybe I want to do this more? Yeah,
I mean, I think my mom could probably tell too that I really liked it, and I think people probably saw that I was into it. There was one other time too. I played like it was a school play. It was like grade 7, and we were doing Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. You guys remember that?
I was in that production when I was a kid too.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. Good music in that. Questionable now when I think about it, but you know, as a kid, it was fun. I got the part of playing the Pharaoh, which is like the Elvis kind of role,
a fun one,
right?
That's
so, and I loved Elvis, so I just leaned into it so hard, and I remember everyone just like really like praised me for that, and I was just like, oh my god, I gotta do this. This is so sweet.
Okay, let's talk about getting into actually like writing music, recording music, putting it out. Mm-hmm. When did this when does this fall into sequence for you too?
So, geez, let me think about that. Yeah, I mean, I started writing songs in high school, but they were all like joke songs. So they were songs to basically make fun of my teachers and stuff like that. Like, I remember one of the first songs I wrote was about this sweetheart of a teacher, Mr. Wong. He was so nice, but I just impersonated him, and he got a kick out of it too, and he used to let me do it, and I wrote a song basically in class about him, and he's like, perform the song, and I remember getting praise for that, and that was like it was a joke, but I was like, oh, I think I might have a bit of a knack for this. This is fun, creating music. And then I guess the first song that I ever kind of released and wrote was while I was going to music school. I kind of realized in music school that I'm not sure I wanted to teach music. I definitely wanted to learn a bit more about what was going on and structure and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, okay, I think I'm going to try and make a swing at maybe putting out some music and seeing what people think about it. So that was 2016, I think.
Did that make you like nervous at all?
Oh yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, like, and like people that were in my family and friends and supporters were also like, hey, you know, like you should probably try and put some tunes out, like, you know, some music, like that's the way to, like, you know, like that's how people are going to notice you. Like, yeah, you got a great voice and you can play guitar, but you should do that. So, you know, I sat down and I was able to write some songs that I still think are quite, you know, I mean, I didn't really know what I was doing, but, you know, they were from the heart, which was really nice. And I feel like I didn't care as much in the sense that I think I know too much now. Sometimes that kind of can limit me a little bit, you know? So like, yeah, I just was able to just kind of pour it out of me and be like, oh, this is cool. You know? But yeah, that was like the first song I released, I think it was 2016 while I was going to school and stuff like that. And
looking back now, thinking about going into a studio, recording and producing music, do you laugh at like that first experience of doing it? Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know if I laugh at it, but I think like, oh boy, you had like, I didn't really know as much as I know now, I guess, in terms of songwriting and production and even just like sound. But it was a pretty, you know what, it was, I'm proud that I did that because it got me going. Am I proud? Yeah, I'm proud. look what it's got me into now.
Were you doing like audio and production stuff in music school too? Like, was it a
No.
like what were you doing?
So, I basically went from doing a bit of musical theater in high school, because that was the only, other than me playing guitar, taking guitar lessons and, you know, playing at talent shows, playing songs that I liked at talent shows. The only other offering at my school was musical theater for music, right? So it was fun for me. It was like the only thing that I liked really to do was play guitar and do the musical theater, because we get to learn songs and perform them and be on stage and stuff like that. So
and musical theater will teach you a lot too.
It will. So I kind of went into that avenue, right? Because that seemed like the only outlet of what you can do. You know, being in a band and all that other kind of stuff didn't seem close or near at all. It seemed quite distant, really. It didn't seem like I knew anybody that could play any instruments either. I didn't know anyone else at school that was kind of doing that. It was just the musical theater thing. So I did that, and then my plan was to continue with that, because everybody was kind of praising me for my vocal ability in musical theater. So I decided to go to school for acting and theater in Manhattan, New York, actually. Oh
wow!
Yeah, at 18 years old.
The Mecca.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking, but so I went to school there for about maybe 6 months. Didn't last long at all. I was like, no, this is. I remember actually going there for specifically more so acting, and there was musical theater on the side, and because I wanted to really up my acting game as well. And then I remember there was a singing class, and I took the singing class because I was like, oh, and it was with other group of students and stuff like that. And my teacher, she's like pulled me aside after class, and she's like, look, I don't know how your acting classes are going, but like, you're a really good singer. She's like, so I don't want to tell you what to do, but I really think that maybe you might be able to pursue a career in singing, and like, you know, maybe going into and I appreciate that she did that, because it kind of jolt me and go, okay. She's like, I have no idea how your other acting classes are going, but at that time I wasn't feeling like they were going fine, but I wasn't feeling like super connected to it. I feel like the acting side of things is very, it seems very different to me than music, and it is collaborative in a certain sense, but I feel like it's so dog eat dog, like, and I feel like you have to be somewhat self-centered a little bit to really, like, maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's just how I felt when I was there. I felt like you really had to be like, you are your cheerleader, and like you, and like, and I'm a very sensitive individual, and I really like working with people and feeling like we can do things together and make, so that was really hard for me. So I
think that's an accurate assumption of that world.
Yeah.
Like my parents put me into acting when I was a kid because I had a stutter, a pretty bad stutter. I don't know where this change is coming from, but the speech person was like, put him in theater. That often helps kids, which it did. It still comes through every once in a while, but, so I grew up in theater and all that as well. And the people that I know that are still doing it very much fit that bill of, they're definitely their own cheerleader.
Yeah. And I mean, like, maybe they have to be too. Like, it's not a fault thing. It's just something that I just couldn't get around, and I noticed it. And and there was a few hurtful things that happened to him. Very sensitive. So I was just like, oh, I don't know if I can be in this world. And it's so cutthroat, and like, you're told no. I mean, you're told no a lot in music as well. But maybe it's just something that I could still pursue and enjoy doing, without being, no, you can't be in this movie, or you can't do that. I still love to act. It's something, maybe one day I will revisit again. But
how do you deal with getting that no?
I'd say I have a pretty strong support system. I feel like that's probably helped me throughout all of it. I think there's a lot of people that are my cheerleaders, I guess, that, push me to continue. I sometimes feel like the no's are what drive me to actually prove a lot of people wrong. And I feel like sometimes I have to, and I'm starting to realize it now a little bit more, that I need to thank those people. because they push me further, because I'm like, you know what, I'm totally gonna prove you wrong, but all right, that's cool. You know what I mean? So I think it's necessary in this industry to get that. And I think I think I'm starting to accept it a little bit more. Maybe I'm numb to it now too. I don't know. I just don't feel it anymore, so I don't know.
However you gotta cope, you gotta cope.
There's always wins too, right? So that's the thing. You got to focus on the wins. There's never going to be always wins. It's going to be losses and wins. So you got to focus on that. That's how I guess I cope. But I do have a strong support system. My wife is a huge support system when it comes to all that, and mom and dad and my in-laws, such supportive people. So, yeah, that's definitely how I deal with that.
Just mentioning family. Mm-hmm. How many kids do you have? One or two?
I have one. Yeah.
One?
I currently have one almost 3-year-old. She's going to be 3 in July.
Is she musically inclined yet or no?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. She was singing, man, she was singing like Annie. Tomorrow. Like when she was like 1 maybe. Like I watched this video of her doing it like constantly. It's the cutest thing in the world. Just breaks my heart. I watch it. I like torture myself when I'm on the road. I watch it and I'm just like, I miss you. And she's just like this adorable, beautiful blonde angel. But yeah, she's already showing signs of remembering lyrics and like melodies, and she'll like make up songs. She's in the bath and she'll just be like making up a song, and my wife will record it and send it to me, and she'll be like, "This is pretty good." And I'm like, "Yeah, keep it going. Let's go here." Like, so yeah.
I smell a family band coming.
Yeah, there we go. Maybe yeah.
Or like she gets a little feature in your shows when you're playing at home.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I know. I mean, she might get there one day, but yeah. I mean, I just want to conclude. After I went to acting school, I tried to do a bunch of other stuff like business, accounting, all that kind of stuff, and just didn't work for me. And I just kept going back to the music thing, so I decided to go to music school and kind of learn the proper. And I got like a not a scholarship, but almost like a bursary to go to like sing opera, and I just was like, no way, that's not me.
Oh wow,
that's not what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, it was kind of like a, hey, you should try this because you have a good voice for this, and I was like, no, and I went to school for jazz guitar, completely opposite instead, and then learned a bunch, and then just started getting gigs and kind of. And then just, yeah.
And then here we are.
Exactly, yeah.
We've talked to a few artists from BC.
Uh-huh.
There's like Ontario people who know like the Alberta music community is pretty big. What's the BC music community like?
It's great. I mean, it's small in the sense that I feel like everybody knows each other. Like that's how I feel about it. I feel like everyone knows one another, and I feel like it doesn't take too long once you're in it to kind of get to know everybody. And I love it. I feel like, I have such a great community of people that I work with. And they're always like, as a working musician, like, as someone that's like gigging in town and stuff like that, like, I feel like we have a really strong community. I feel like, if someone can't make something, or, you need someone to fill in here or something like that, everybody's like willing to help or looking, like we all kind of help each other out. And I love that about this community. And there's a few spots in town that, if you get involved with and you're a decent musician and a decent person, you can play regularly, and there's people that help each other out. So I think it's a great community. That's just like the music community in a general spectrum, I'd say. But yeah, it seems small though. It doesn't seem like it's too big. But I don't know everybody, but I know a lot of people.
That's the best.
Yeah.
So how often are you playing like right now? Are you playing like a lot of gigs? Or you've just come off the road?
Yeah.
With Kyle McKearney. How was that? Let's start there. How was that?
Oh, that was awesome. That was like, just felt like it just feels like what I should be doing and what I want to be doing. So that was such a great opportunity to get. I was super stoked when I got asked to do that. I love Kyle's music. I think Kyle's just like probably one of the best singers in Canada. He's got an incredible voice. His band is tight as shit. So that was like really, really awesome to watch every night. And they're a great group of people too. So I was very privileged to get that opportunity, and I was really proud and happy about how that we did and how we performed and how we handled ourselves, and played a lot of the new songs that I recorded this year and last year, and they went over really well. So it was a great experience. I would love to do it again, and I'm actually currently trying to do it again. So I'm really working on getting us back out there. I feel like there's really no shortcut, I feel like, to getting tight and getting really cohesive with the band. And that repetition of playing every night and playing to a different audience every night is just like by the last show we sounded like, I was like, this is so awesome. Like I was just like, we got to do like this every week, you know what I mean? And we all were feeling that way, right? And so that's like a high. Like it's really great. It's such a great feeling. So yeah, I'd love to do that more, and I'm planning on it.
Well, you have a couple more shows coming up.
Yeah.
Next, we are in a couple weeks once this releases.
Yeah.
Or you will be playing in Vancouver with Parker Graye.
Yeah.
Who we've had on our podcast a couple times.
Love Parker.
Yeah, looking forward to that show.
I am. I'm so excited. I mean, I was super stoked when Parker asked me. It's a really cool venue in Vancouver. It's called the Painted Ship, which is in a really nice area called Kitsilano. I could be wrong, but I think they named that venue after a psychedelic band that was like somewhat famous in Vancouver in the 60s. I could be wrong. I think that's what my father-in-law was telling me, and I saw a poster in the venue. Excuse me. I've played there like maybe 3 times, and it's such a great atmosphere, really cool stage. It's like very psychedelic in there. They have like a really great built-in crowd too. People just show up all the time, and I'm looking forward to it. And you know, Parker writes such incredible music. She's so good. But yeah, I can't wait to play some of my tunes there. We're gonna do like an acoustic Nashville songwriter style, so that'll be great. And it's sold out. So anyone that's watching this, I'm sorry.
You want to go? You can.
You can't. You can stand outside. Just kidding. If it's not raining, you can stand outside and peer in the window.
Maybe you guys should go live on TikTok or something,
hey,
on Instagram.
That's an idea.
You know, let people see it.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Second show.
You can float that idea to her, Logan. I heard she's nearby, so.
I heard
Did you hear that?
No, he was like, "You stay downstairs. I'm gonna go upstairs to record." Otherwise, we'd have a third host.
Yeah. Oh God.
That would be unhinged.
It would be. Yeah.
I think it'd be funny.
It would be hilarious.
We wouldn't be able to keep track of anything.
No,
it's true.
And like Riverside would be like, "You got malfunction."
Listen, we have, knock on wood, we haven't had an issue with Riverside in quite a while.
Yeah, please knock on something.
Yeah, it's right behind you.
Yeah.
Literally this wall.
Oh God.
Okay, let's talk about music and your current project. This comes out Tuesday, but we're recording on Friday.
So it came out today. My new song, Tried and True, came out today, which I'm very excited about. I wrote this song, last year, I think. Recorded it last year. Recorded it with a bunch of tunes for this new project that I've been working on, which is kind of a very rejuvenated Antonio, very focus-based Antonio, very much songs and ideas that I've been trying to put forward and express to people, and kind of trying to get people to understand me as an artist a bit more and more refined, and having a bit of a North Star as to what my sound is. And so yeah, I'm super excited about it. Like the song Tried and True is a bit more of a hybrid, especially on with this song. It's definitely leaning more towards the bluesy kind of side of things. There's some horns on it. I started with the guitar idea, and I've listened to a lot of 1950s, 1960s kind of blues music, and that riff, if someone could note it. It's definitely inspired by like Bo Diddley, you know, like do 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 do. So that was kind of my idea for that, and then we kind of spawned it into. I wrote the song with Marcus Ramsey and Emmett Jerome. Marcus is an exceptional guitar player. You guys might know who he is. He plays with a lot of people, and Emmett is another just an unbelievable talent. He's a great writer, and he's got his own project as well. So we kind of, all three of us kind of really get together well when it comes to music. I feel like we all kind of have very similar interests, very much listen to the same kind of music. So it was kind of a no-brainer when we were writing the song. Kind of really came together. And it kind of has like a Rolling Stones kind of vibe to it as well. So we kind of really leaned into that. Yeah, I kind of based the song off of my relationship with my wife, and how long we've been together and how long we've known each other. And, you know, it kind of happened in a funny way because we moved out of the place we were living in, moved into somewhere else, and then I was kind of going through a lot of stuff. I was doing a lot of cleaning, and I was cleaning some stuff on my computer as well. And I saw a video of me playing in like 2011 at the Princeton pub in Vancouver, which is like a local pub. And I was just so shitty. And I was like, holy cow. And I literally went up to her and I was like, what were you thinking? Like, why did you, like, what, how, like, where was the support? She said, you were great. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you know, you're. And I was just like, man, I can't believe she's stuck it out with me and like supported me with this. I mean, obviously we love each other to death, but you know, just, you know, someone might think, oh, what a pipe dream, or like, you know, like, what are you trying to do kind of thing. So that really stuck with me, and it was like a really sobering moment because I was like, holy cow, I was shit. Like, you know, and I mean, it wasn't that bad, obviously, but still, like, considering as to what my standards are now, right? I was like, wow. So that was something that was really holding on to me. And then I think I saw a power tool commercial somewhere. I was traveling somewhere. I think it was the States or Mexico. And they said, it said tried and true. Like this brand is tried and true. And I was like, oh, that's great. And I wrote it down and kind of came up with the concept of the song and brought it to Emmett and Marcus and just fleshed it out from there. But that was kind of the basis of it.
When I saw the song title, I'm not gonna lie, my brain saw it as tired and true. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I mean,
and then
it's quite true.
And then I hit play, and I was like, this is a pretty fast song for something called Tired and True. And then it clicked.
Let's just make sure I didn't spell it wrong, because I'm like known to do it. No,
it's me. I do this all the time.
Imagine.
I do it all the time too. So I'm pretty sure I made the promo video for it, and I wrote, instead of writing available now, I wrote available now. And I had to like take it down, repost it. I was like, damn it.
I've done some
Worse.
I've done worse.
Okay, nice, cool.
I do some work with a news organization. This is a tangent, and on election night, I was helping them do their election coverage.
Okay.
Online, and I tweeted out, tune in all night for live erection coverage.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I caught it pretty quickly, but I was like, this
man,
is why I'm not a journalist.
You should have left it. That's so good. Oh, that's awesome.
So, you know, you're fine.
Yeah, it's not as bad, you're right, but that's hilarious. Oh,
I was going to say, Instagram tells me this is when you convinced your wife to be in a music
video.
video.
Oh yeah.
You like keep me out of this shit or what?
Yeah, she's notoriously, she's like so opposite to me when it comes to that. Like, she's like, I do not want anyone looking at me. I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, she's an introvert. And I love her for that because, you know, I think we balance each other out really well when it comes to that. But I was like, look, I wrote this song, you know, it's about you. Like, you know, I'm like, I'm not going to do this music video. I need a visual for it. I'm like, I'm not going to
do me a solid.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not doing this with some actress. Like, come on, like, you can't, you know. And she's like, oh,
just do it.
Look, let's just get really drunk, and it'll be easy. And she was like, all right, fine. and I was like, and I'll give her an activity so it doesn't seem like we're acting, right? So we went bowling at Grandview Lanes, which has been an East fan forever, and it's a staple. I love bowling there, so I was like, let's go do this, and we had a few drinks, and away we went. And and she told me, she's like, you got to wash the dishes for a week, and I was like, no problem.
Whatever you need.
I don't know if I did that though. Still waiting on the dishes, I think.
We'll ask her.
Yeah.
Checking in.
Actually, you won't. She'll never be on something like this unless she's really drunk.
Can be arranged.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, before we jump into our little segment we do, so Tried and True is out now, but it is part of a project you're working on that's going to come out, I assume, later this year or next year, whatever you're working up to. So let's give the people what they want, and that is when.
Yeah, that's going to probably be around the spring of next year. That's what I'm thinking. We're
Singles up till then kind of a deal?
Yes. And I'm just going to tease it. I'm not going to say for sure what's going on, but there is a duet that I'm working on with somebody. She's an artist.
Have heard it.
You might know
I
her.
may have heard it. It might be really cool. I might have said, wow, this is like two of the coolest voices in Canadian country coming together.
I'm feeling left out.
It's pretty sick. I'm pretty into
Yeah, I'm very excited. I went on tour with, I don't know if we can talk about this, but I went on tour with Taylor Ray in February. I gave her a call last October or November because I was looking at doing some touring, and I just was like thinking about, I'm like, man, I want to go back to Alberta. I want to do some shows. I'm like, who can I call? Like, who can? And I was like, oh my God, Taylor Ray, duh. So I called her. I was like, hey, let's go on tour and let's do a couple shows in Alberta. I'm like, you're from there. Like, you're totally going to draw a great crowd. I was like, I'd love to open up for you. I love Taylor's voice. I love her music, and she's such a great person. So, she was just like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, hell yeah, like right on. And I was just like, let's try and keep it, save some costs here. Let's take one band. And, I was like, my band that live in Vancouver, and they're like, working musicians, like they work a lot. Right. I'm like, they'll pick up your stuff, no problem. And, like, let's do this. We can take one band out there. It'll, and it just was such a hit. And, my idea was, I'm like, we should do a song together. I'm like, but we should do an original song together, and we should write the song together. So, we got together with David Boris, and we wrote this tune, and I just kind of pictured it as like a really powerful ballad song, because she's got such a crazy voice, and I figured we both can have some pretty strong vocal attributes. Why don't we do this? And we did, and we played it on tour, and people just didn't shut up about it. And it was like in such an infant stage, and we're like, oh, I guess we got to record it. So that might be happening. I don't know when, but happening. Just do it.
Heard it here first.
That might be happening.
Yeah.
That is happening.
You're like, it's definitely happening.
It's happening. For sure. Yeah, no, I'm stoked. I watched a video.
Yeah.
I think I sent her somebody's story, and I was like, oh shit, what? Where's this from? And she's like, oh, just you wait.
Yeah, so I was like, it's cool. What's funny is that I think we talked about, like, I floated the idea, or so we were drinking or something, and it was the CCMAs of 2023 out in Hamilton. And yeah. Yeah, that weekend was...
I love Hamilton.
We love Hamilton so much, for everyone who's listening from Hamilton.
I love Hamilton.
Yeah.
That was my first time there, so I have nothing to...
Same.
What a good first impression.
Oh boy. Anyways, and I think we floated the idea to each other, and I was just like, we should do a duet. And she was like, yeah. And then we just kind of talked about it a few other times, but now I was like, well, let's do it, and we did it. So yeah, I'm.
That was Taylor making those drunk plans.
Yes. Oh, good one.
Ooh,
nice.
And then she followed up though.
That's
She
good.
actually did it though.
Yeah.
2 years later.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. We're gonna be hitting that one up, so it'll be good.
Yeah.
So did you hear like the demo, or did you just hear us on? Okay, all right.
Well, I've heard nothing.
Yeah. Well, we'll send you the finished product hopefully in a couple weeks.
We'll send you the finished product. It's released on this date.
Yeah.
You can hear it then.
Can you imagine?
On your chosen streaming platform.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Hey, here's the pre-save link.
Pre-save it here, yeah.
There's nothing like getting press coverage early, and it says pre-save here, and I'm like, if I'm not going to hear this,
Yeah, you're like, come on, get out of
I'm
here.
not going to talk about it.
sending this.
I
Yeah, I
know.
don't care.
The whole
There's going to be
pre-save.
some benefit to running a publication.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, let's play the game.
Yes.
Let's go through some of your discography, I guess it is called.
Mm-hmm.
That's an ugly word.
It is a weird word, but
What do we call this?
We haven't called it anything.
Well, we had an idea a couple episodes ago, and I forget.
We might have a title for this segment by the end of this season.
nice.
And then we'll drop
I
the
wonder
segment
what
and
you
do
could
something
call
else.
it. Maybe like
We had called it like Vibe Check, but like,
Yeah.
discography. Like you're going through people's past releases.
yeah.
A blast from
Well, okay, let's go back here now.
yeah.
No. Okay, let's actually.
One
jump
thing I
in.
do got to say too, I wanted to fill this in there. My new songs record, other than the duet I was talking about, really cool. Can't wait to share with everybody. Super stoked on it. Marcus Ramsey, myself, Emmett Jerome wrote a bunch of tunes with some other people as well. It's like very cool. Very excited about it. That's all I want to say.
Leave
be
people
awesome.
hanging for a whole year.
Yeah, I mean it's probably gonna come out spring next year. Yeah, but there's gonna be singles, so you'll get some. Little...
Hooray.
And I'll know to send it to you beforehand, right? Not.
Oh,
not,
no,
not the-
it's fine.
No, I for sure will. I'd love to hear what you guys think. So.
Let's go to the very first song that you have here on your Spotify here.
Oh boy.
From 2019,
Oh.
we have Hard Days. What was going on when
Right.
you released that?
Well,
Not a good day.
no. I mean, it was one of those things where me and my wife, we just got married. We got engaged in 2017, and she started going to school, and I was trying to I was going full-time music. I was like, you know what, I got to quit every other job I was having, and I need to do this kind of thing. And so she was going to school, and I was going to basically be the only person that was like bringing an income in, being a musician in a very expensive city like Vancouver. I was trying to get some work, really trying to get noticed, and then trying to write songs that were good. And I was just feeling a lot of pressure, and I was feeling a little bit of the weight of all that. And the song, the title, and like the melody of You Say It's Just a Phase, seems like all we got are hard days, kind of just like popped into my head, and I was like, oh shit, that's not bad, right? And just kind of came with the chords, and I brought it to my producer at the time, Nigel Aslin, and we finished it, we wrote it, and we were both really stoked on it. And at that time when I was writing music, I didn't really know, like, I was reluctant to call myself a bit of a country artist, because so much of what I was referring to as country music at the time was really poppy, and I didn't really know where, like, how that would work out, right? And very like just very country too, like, you know, cowboy boots, cowboy hats. So I was like, that's definitely not, you know, I don't wear a cowboy hat. I spent my summers in the country, but you know, I live in the city, but I love that music. But yeah, I brought it to him. We finished it. We recorded it. When I released it, Spotify added it to like 3 playlists, and this was like a huge thing for me. I was like, holy cow, like I had no idea that this was going to happen, and they put it on country playlists. So I was like, okay, I guess it's a country song. You know, I was reluctant to have that feeling, but obviously everyone I was showing, they're like, duh, of course it is, man. And I was like, wow, okay. So that was a really big moment for me when that happened. That was like my first like big release. And to get that happen was great. And then we decided to try and take it to radio. And my radio person at the time was like, who still is my radio guy, he was like, man, I gotta tell you, he's like, this is not gonna get played anywhere. I'm sorry. He's like, I don't think anything's gonna happen with this. And I was like, you know what, man, I believe in the tune. I think it's great. I think people might like it. Let's try it out. Like, let's just see what happens. And to his amazement and to mine, lots of stations in Canada played it. Sirius XM spun the hell out of it. And it was just super cool to see. And like, people sing that song at my shows now. And, and it's kind of came from somewhere where I was feeling super not great. So it's crazy to see that kind of flourish, and everybody maybe can relate to that feeling of the song. But yeah, that was like my first song that really kind of did something for me, made me feel like I could do things. So that was great.
It's like the flowers that come after the rain. It's like the rain is the hard days, and the flowers is everything that comes out of it after.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a defining moment for me for sure. And to hear your song on the radio was just like the coolest thing ever. Like, like you dream about stuff like that. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Logan, I don't know where you sat in this catalog of music, so I'm gonna let you keep going.
I'm gonna let you go because I suck, and there was a whole album before this.
Oh, but it's okay. That whole album before this, we don't even want to talk about. It's so.
See, I knew it.
It's so. I mean, we could if you want. It's very infant, Antonio, but.
No, we're gonna say that I was right, and that album isn't even there.
There we go. Please don't listen to it.
Anyways, from that album, let's do. Yeah. It looks like "Bad Love" was the most streamed on that album. Ooh. So tell us about that song real quick.
That song's funny. I was working with Jason Cook, who was a drummer in town at the time, and he's a really great friend of mine still. And we were working on this, my first project together, basically. And these are songs, like I was telling you, that I just kind of wrote and like put it together. And he was like, "Hey man, like if you want to record a record, you can come to my garage and we can totally do that." And I was just like, "Oh my god, let's do that! That sounds so awesome!" And we did it and did some beds and stuff like that. And we looked at all the songs, and he was kind of like, "You need." He's like, "You need maybe like a really radio-y kind of song on here, kind of thing, like a little bit more poppy." And I was just like, "Yeah." He's like, "Maybe that'll like break the rest of the album and give some eyes to it, kind of thing." And I was like, "Okay, sure." So like I went home and I kind of thought of like the most generic thing that I could write, I swear to God. And
that's how it works.
I was like, I brought it to him and he was like, "This is pretty cool, man." He's like, "Not bad at all." And I kind of just wrote it about like wanting basically to be with someone, or wanting some sort of attraction from somebody that was forbidden or not good. And yeah, it kind of went from there. And yeah, the song, I guess, picked up really well on Spotify. I was like playing so crazy. I was playing a private party at a restaurant like a few months ago, and I guess the song's like on Pandora or something like that. And it just started playing, and I just almost like I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" I was like, "What the heck?"
That's so
I haven't
funny.
heard this in so long. I was like, "Holy cow." And it was such a funny moment for me. I was like, "Oh my god." Like, yeah. So I don't ever play that song, but we kind of just like threw it on there, and really quickly, like, we were just like, "Hey, let's just try it." It was like more of a fun thing to just do. And it was the one song, I guess, that clearly stuck with people. So yeah.
Okay, this is where I clued in, was literally probably 2023.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And that was with Stumbling. Yeah.
Everybody likes that tune. That's a great song. That song. So when we were recording my record, Stumbling, and that whole period of time was funny because I had all these plans to do that, and I wrote all these songs, and then so I wrote all these songs in like 2019 and was continuing to write them, and then COVID hit. So it completely put a huge like wedge into that record and into the timing of all of it. So it was like spread out between 3.5 years basically. And unfortunately, by the time that I actually released it, I felt so like not even close to it anymore because it just felt so foreign and so, you know what I mean? It sounds great, and we played the crap out of the songs and stuff, and people loved them, but it definitely felt like a different Antonio, of a farther person, right? But I'm still very proud of it. But that's definitely how it felt, because it was just dragged out because of all the back and forth and stopping and starting and COVID and all that kind of stuff, and finances with COVID, trying to make some money while not playing music and paying for all these kind of things. And so I had so many great players on that record. But the song itself, I was working with Nigel Aslan and my friend John Ryan Sullivan, who built this beautiful studio that I'm working in, or space, I guess. He helped me soundproof this whole thing, and he does a great job with that kind of stuff. And he's also a very talented writer. He actually came with the bulk of the chorus, and he's something that he'd, I guess, been working on, and he brought it in, and we were just like, dude, this is awesome. This is so sick. And we wrote around it and just kind of finished the song, and it's a really beautiful, catchy love tune. Definitely leaning towards the more pop side of things for myself. And I do love the song, and I love the success that it's had, and I love how much people love it. But it definitely was something that made me think differently about going forward with my career as well, because, you know, like, I really want to release music that is like true to me. And that, not saying that song isn't, but it's definitely different from what I'm used to. Kind of like that Bad Love scenario, you know, it's kind of like making music for the masses versus, you know, but I do love the song. I think it's a great tune. My wife loves that song. Everybody that knows that song is like, oh my God, I love that song. So it's got a special place in my heart. Maybe I'll re-record it. Maybe. You never know.
All right, let's go with Close to You.
Nice. Yeah. That's my most recent release. Well, Tried and True is the most recent release today. But before that, Close to You came out. And that's the first of a batch of songs that I've been working on. And I feel like that one kind of set the precedent as to what I want to sound like, and what I'm trying to go for as an artist right now. And it's kind of sticking to the roots of what I love. And that was kind of the basis around that song. I went through the last maybe 3 or 4 years, like a massive Waylon Jennings, fan, just like obsessed, just, he's so cool. I'm a big fan of Sturgill Simpson as well, in case you haven't noticed. And yeah, just the whole classic country beat, and just like that kind of vibe of music has just been really what I've been focusing on in the last little while. And last year I wrote about 10 songs, and we went into the studio, and out of that 10 songs from last year, I'm probably only going to release like 3 or 4. So there was, yeah. And then we went back in this year, and we recorded 9, and I'm probably going to release 8 of those 9. So it's kind of been a bit of a search for me, and a bit of a trying to figure out and trying to make sure that I really have things dialed in as to what I want them to sound like and what I'm trying to put forward. So that was one of the songs that was like, okay, I think this is the kind of direction that I'm trying to go in. And I feel like ever since I've released that and wrote it and kind of put it forward, I feel like I have the proper footing now to go forward with the sound. And I wrote that song basically about being on the road, and missing my wife, missing my daughter. And I wrote it with Emmett Jerome and David Boris, and we kind of wrote it in the idea of being a big rig truck driver. Not as much as a touring musician, almost as a big rig truck driver that's like on the road, you know, driving forever, and he just is like longing for his either his wife or his girlfriend or whoever. And that's kind of where we kind of wrote it from. Like, it kills me, I want to be with you, I want to get close to you, you know. And the most PG version you can rate it as. You know, and that's kind of where that came from. And it's a simple song with a simple beat, and it's just from the heart. But I love playing that song live. It's a lot of fun. It gets people dancing. And yeah, I was very heavily inspired by Waylon Jennings.
Okay, thanks for playing. Thanks for letting us dig back.
Oh yeah,
Song you hate, clearly.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, like, Bad Love's a funny one. I love, by the way, for the record, Stumbling is a great song. I love that song so much. I just want to put that out there because I want to get that the wrong way. It's a great tune.
Whoever you need to convince. Just kidding. Okay, Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we have to.
This is where we part ways.
This is where we part ways. For now, it's not. See you never. It's.
I hope
see you
not.
It's come back to the porch soon, but you got to leave now.
Okay. Get the hell off the porch. Get off my property.
Well, everyone, thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to keep an eye up on Front Porch Music, and we'll have the latest from Antonio. And if you're in the Toronto area, Antonio will be playing June 14th at the Cameron House.
That's right,
So,
at 9 o'clock for the North by Northeast Festival with my band. Come watch us play a lot of great tunes. It's going to be awesome.
Thanks so much, Antonio.
Thanks for having me, guys. Love you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of On the Porch with Front Porch Music. We're so lucky to be able to chat with artists and make episodes like this one. If you like the podcast, remember to rate and review us, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. It's the easiest way to support the show. Remember to check out frontporchmusic.ca to keep up with new music releases, exclusive artist interviews, and more. We'll catch you again on The Porch in a couple of weeks. On The Porch is hosted by Logan Miller and Jenna Weiser, and produced and edited by Jason Saunders. That's me. Our theme song was written, produced, and performed by Owen Wigling.